And then you'll be able to get a good fee for whatever it is. So don't worry too much. Somebody's interested in everything. And anything you can be interested in, you'll find others will. But it's absolutely stupid to spend your time doing things you don't like.
Okay, late night tonight. I got a shop press, finally. This is one of those purchases I put off for a long time, not because of cost, but just where am I gonna put it? That's the trouble. Side note, you know Harbor Freight's 20% off coupons that are usually no good for anything of any value? Well, it actually worked on the press. I did not expect it to, and I was like, oh, snap. So, exciting. 20% off, I don't remember what it was, it's like $100. So, what we're doing tonight, I already painted my control arms and my subframe. You guys would have seen that already in the angle kit install video, but we had a problem with the angle kit. It's not gonna fit. Don't know what I'm gonna do about that. We'll get to that later. So anyway, I'm pressing out all the bushings on these control arms. I have 2 pair of rear uppers because I want to make my own camber arms, like own up for camber arms. We've got our dual caliper knuckles from Xeric Fab. Ben is coming over tomorrow, and the goal is to just slam this thing together. So what I want to do tonight is just try to get all the bushings out that we're going to replace with energy suspension bushings. I bought like a whole rear kit because I needed the 2 to go in here. And instead of just buying those, I was like, well, it probably makes sense to do all of them, you know, while you're there. You know, I tell you guys not to do that. I'm doing it. I'm doing it bad. But anyway, that's what I'm doing tonight. So, trying to get all that done, just be productive so that tomorrow we have less to do, because this is a tedious process. Okay, I came up with a pretty solid concoction. I have this big socket. I think it's like some 4-wheel drive hub remover or something for a Ford or maybe a Dodge. I don't remember. But basically, if you press on this side, you can very easily bend the arm. So you need something to go between the 2 to support them, so you don't just bend the arm. So I was like putting this in there with another socket, and it just didn't work well. So with the bolt, I have a nut on each side. It's like infinitely adjustable, and I can get it right to where it just barely pops in like that. All right, hammer these out. Alright, rear arms done. Got all the bushings out. You guys may be asking yourself, why did you paint these before taking the bushings out? I had time to paint them. I didn't have the press yet or the bushing, so I wanted to get something done. It's a lot easier to touch them up than to paint them entirely. So we're just gonna touch these up and then start on the rear control arms.
If you wanna make this feeling stay, hold tight. Hold, drop money out of space. Kid, drink, introduce me to your bitch's wife, and we know she's sweating.
Alright, look at all these stock bushings. Weak. Got them all out. Both lower control arms and then all 4 uppers. The reason for 4 uppers is I'm gonna be modifying them to do like a camber slot adjustment. I think I probably already said this, but anyway, I'm gonna make 2 pairs, but that way I can put the car together and then do the model later this week and make a video on that. What else was I gonna say? Press, very valuable investment, worth the space it takes up. I think it's like $100 at Harbor Freight with a 20% off coupon, very worthwhile, because tomorrow we've got the bearings shown in the freezer. All we gotta do is, we'll use the old bearing, which is down here, press the new bearings into the hub. I got wheel bearing seals, wheel seals. Huge thank you to whoever commented that and reminded me to do that, because otherwise I would have forgot, because the Xeric Fab knuckles come bare, which I knew that, but I didn't think about the wheel seal, so thank you very much. You guys remind me of stuff all the time, but really excited to put the Xeric Fab knuckles on. They're part of the reason I decided to paint everything gray, because they're already powder coated gray, so I was like, oh, why not, might as well. Okay. It's almost midnight. My neighbor's still partying, so I don't feel bad working late when he's partying, because he's already making noise, so it's not a big deal. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it a night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, so here are my energy suspension bushings. Shout out to 5X Racing. I ordered these on their website, and I made a little note saying, hey, if I need these by Friday/Saturday. If they're not gonna be here by then, let me know. I'll pay extra shipping. And they shipped them FedEx 2-day without even making me pay extra for it, and they got here yesterday. Or no, day before yesterday. They got here Thursday. So super cool. Really appreciate them for getting them out so fast. Also, this is what a trashed stock bushing looks like. See how it's all split, about to tear in half. We should be able to tell by the amount and obviously the size, you know, which ones go where. Oh, sweet. It tells you where they go and what the part number is. That's awesome. Sandy's a good garage kitty. She just comes and hangs out with me. Chills in the garage. Right, Sandy? She's like, it's cold inside. I want to be hot out here. Alright, I got all of these organized. I'm not 100% sure what these washers are for. It shows them on the parts list, but I don't know where they go. My only guess would be to like press the bushing in, you use the washer and like the nut and bolt and tighten it down and it presses the bushing in. That's my guess. But it says right there, grease. I don't have any grease. Did not come with grease. So we gotta go to the parts store, of course, get some grease. Parts store runs are inevitable. So, oh, also Ben's not coming today. So my goal is to get all the rear done, rear subframe in today. And then tomorrow we can work on getting the steering rack in, front suspension on, all of that, and the trans mount. That's the plan, which will be its own thing. Anyway, parts store run. I need to think and make sure that I don't need anything else before I do this, because I always need something else. All right, we're gonna start with the rear lowers. We're doing all rear. I have this wire wheel that's like the perfect size. So we're just gonna wire wheel out the inside of the bushing holes just to clean it up, because there's just some like rough spots that'll make it annoying to get the bushings in.
I don't try nobody, grip the trigger, call up the king and they come and get games. Call me a river, give you a tissue. Bad and bullshit, bad. Cooking up dope with a booze.
Alright, actually we're gonna do the uppers first, just because it's a little easier. Well, there's less bushings, so in a sense it's easier. Alright, so we have some poly grease. This is like chassis specific grease. I think it'll be good for this. It's a lithium base. Probably a bit overkill here, but that's okay. I'm doing a lot of greasy things on this project. This like specific part of the project.
Stay on time. Hold, drop money out of space. Kid, drink, introduce me to your kitchen. Wife, and we know she's sweaty. Broke up, break down, nigga.
You guys hear that? The like constant humming of motorcycles. There goes a wheelie. There's a big ride going on this weekend. It must be somewhere nearby. It's like a uniformed hum of all the motorcycles.
Coming quick, ratatouille. Run with that, say, call me booby. When I'm on fish, show me boobies. Ice on my neck on the coolest. How about the suicide with the booze? I pull up, I hop out with all of the drugs in the cooler.
Alright, all the arms are done. All new bushings. Looks snazzy. And then the knuckle bushings are done, but we need to press the bearing in and then put the wheel seals in. I got 3 of these because I figured I might mess one up, and I was paying $25 for overnight shipping on $3 worth of parts, so I might as well have an extra, right? Alright, so I've got the bearings in the freezer. I'm going to grab them out and then we're going to try to press them in. My thoughts are, let's get it going from the front. Use the old bearing as like a perfect spacer. Well, I guess we don't even need that. We can just use a piece of wood, press them down in.
I don't try nobody, grip the trigger. Call up, they bang and they come and get game. Grab me a river, give you a tissue. Bad and bullshit, bad. Picking up dope with a booze. My niggas is sad. We got letters and 100 round.
Ta-da! Boy, what a process that was, man. The wood kept bending and da-da-da. Even bent this super thick, it's like 1/4 inch thick steel going into this bearing. So we're gonna try that again. Just put the bearing on top of the other bearing. Or actually we'll probably put this on top of the bearing until it gets pretty far down, and then put the other bearing on top of that bearing. Well, we got one done. Oh, we still need to tap the wheel seal in. I guess I'll do that. I'll show you guys the completed process. And we're solid. This is why I got spares, so I could just not even have to worry about being careful and just bang it on in there. Alright, one hub complete. Just gotta do the same thing again. This is exciting. One of those stressful parts. Hub and axles. Both of these are done. That is A1. I got my dudes. All right, one more thing to do. The reason we're in this whole fiasco in the first place. Put the new broached hubs in. I almost forgot about this. I thought I was in the clear. Thought all was done, all was well. I was wrong. We have one more thing to do. I am going to try to tap these in with a hammer. Oh, crooked. Alright, we're going to use the press. We have a press, we're going to use it. Make sure it goes in straight. Well, lesson learned. Don't buy... Well, I didn't even buy cheap wheel bearings. These are like mid-grade wheel bearings. Don't buy mid-grade wheel bearings off Rock Auto. So these are like... they've got to be a different design. So, where's the factory one? I just had it. So, it's two separate bearings. It's like a big bearing race on the outside, and then two separate races and bearings on the inside. Sealed, obviously. So what keeps happening is, it happened on the first one, then it happened on the second one. The second one, I hammered the hub in on the first one, pressed it in on the second one. Both times, I took it super easy with the press. It went in like butter. It pushed out the back half, but from what it looked like when it was popping up, because it pushed it out like above this seal, is it looks like it's its own sealed bearing with race, and then there's also the outer race itself. So I don't know, man, it's frustrating because I'm like, watch these fail now, but they both did it. They seem fine now. There's no play. I got them back in all the way. I'm just gonna run it. I'm not gonna worry about it until it fails, because it's gonna be the same thing to fix. It's not gonna be the same thing to fix. Guys, why? It's wheel bearings. Wheel bearings are just defeating me this week. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna put the axle seal back in. I think I'm just gonna run it. I just really don't know what else to do. I would hate to press them back out, press the hubs back out, get more wheel bearings, and the same thing just happen again. I don't know at this point. I wish I had another one of these. I could take it apart and get an idea. You can kind of see what looks like the race right there. It's like tiny little rollers instead of the big ball bearings. And then it's like the sleeve is just bigger to meet the correct outside diameter. These are some generic inner bearings or something. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We will figure it out. So these are the axle spacers. They were on the axle. I was gonna put them in when I put them on the axle, but I wanted to make sure that I got them, you know, I didn't like bend this seal or anything. So I went ahead and popped these in here. So then the axle will go in. There's a group, there's like a straight side, which is this side, and then the other side has like a chamfered to it, so it's easy to pop in. Okay, I think we're ready to assemble. I'm just gonna ignore the wheel bearing thing. I'm not gonna think about it, and hopefully it doesn't fail. If it does, it does. We'll fix it later. But we're putting this thing together, so that's what we're gonna do, guys. All right, time for the pivotal moment, putting it all back together. So first step, I think the order of operations is gonna be put in the diff, bolt it into the subframe, do the axles, put the axles in the diff, lower control arm, upright, and like kind of put it on the knuckle at the same time we're putting it on the lower control arm, and then upper control arm. I'll have to flip it back over, put it on the jack, roll it back there. I just did it back here, or up here, because there's more light. It shouldn't be too bad. And then put it back in the car, brake calipers, rotors, this thing. See if we can get all that done tonight. God, this diff is so heavy. Okay. I can't get away from freaking grease. I somehow rolled this thing in grease when I was flipping it over to pick it up. And I still have grease on my hand, even though I'm not working with grease anymore. I'm putting this bolt this way because the subframe is going to be flipped over when it's in the car. I got all grade 8 hardware for obvious reasons. It's kind of holding my diff in the car. It's kind of important. Oh man, this looks sweet. This thing finally bolted in. Well, almost bolted in. That was easier than expected. Gotta move you guys over here. Alright, hold on. There we go. It's in now. At least. This diff looks huge in the subframe. I was like, oh, let me show them what the Torsen, or the Miata diff looks like in comparison, because it's like way smaller, but I totally forgot I already gave it to Ben. I gave my diff and my turbo kit to Ben. He's gonna, I think he already listed the diff on Ben's usemiataparts.com. I have to give him another part for the turbo kit to list that, but it's full turbo kit, everything, coolant reroute, even the lower coolant like water neck re-welded forward so it doesn't go under the turbo, like literally everything you need, intercooler that clears AC, all of that's going to be listed. The ECU is a Megasquirt 1 box with an MS2 chip, so it's basically a MS2 plug and play for $96 to $97. So we'll probably part the two, like sell the turbo kit to someone and sell the ECU to someone if we can't find someone to buy the whole thing as one shot. But anyway, this will be listed on his website as well as like all his other Miata parts. I just thought about that. Okay, yeah, like I said, next step, lower control arm. Okay, problem number 2. This bushing on both sides didn't go in all the way. It looks like it went all the way on that side. I had this issue on this side. I don't know why. It doesn't want to go in all the way. So we gotta try to fix it. Alright, I got it on. Woo! Well, putting the axle on the rest of the way is gonna have to wait. I'm gonna continue and just do the other side. Basically, this, like I said, this one bushing was just hung up, so I had to cut the bottom of it a little bit. Just to get it to go all the way over. It was like hitting the arm itself, but then it was fine. I actually put this in first and then put the axle on, which is kind of the more convoluted way to do it. It's easier to slide the axle into the hub and then put this bottom bolt on. So we're gonna do that on the other side, and we can flip it over, I guess, and continue. Or yeah, yeah. I don't know, guys. I don't know. It's late. Oh, also, I realized what those washers are for. They're for this. The big lower bolt. Okay, okie dokie. We got both sides on. I think we'll just flip it over now and do the upper control arm and kind of try to finish attaching everything. I definitely made a mistake painting this silver. It's already gotten so messed up. Oh, we got the upper arm on. Again, I'm like anxious to tighten this axle and get it all the way in, but we'll get there when we get there. I'm gonna see if Ben can bring a socket tomorrow. I kind of want to just knock the rest of this out and get it back in the car, just so like this part is done. But I am running on fumes, guys. I am beat. I am beat. Only put the other upper arm on. What do we have next? Sway bar, and then I think put it in the car, something like that. That sounds right. Alright, well, I of course put the rear lower control arms on the wrong side, so I had to take it all back apart anyway. So since I had to flip it over, I spun it around, so now when we flip it onto the jack, it'll be the right way to go in under the car.
I don't try nobody, grip the trigger, nobody call up the king and they come and get games. Call me a river, give you a tissue. Sad and bullshit, bad, picking up dope with a boost. My niggas are sad and ruthless. We got better than...
Alright, subframe is complete. It is time to throw it back in the car. Getting this swivel on was a nightmare, guys. Is this a normal Miata thing? I tried moving the arms even, moving them different. It was a pain. Okay, anyway. Ta-da! I'm feeling pretty motivated, so we're gonna go ahead and put the rear shocks in too. These are my new BCs. I went with the DS series. I've kind of changed the DS series on everything now. I went from BR to DS on the Vet, and I really like the difference. So I did that kit on the Z. I just went straight to DS. And then this car I'm testing out, these are fronts. Hold on. Our new extended top hats, that it just allows for more shock stroke with the same drop range, and DS's on this car. So I'm really excited about this setup. I went even softer in the rear. It might be too soft. I might have to go up in sway bar. We'll see, we'll see. I kind of want as much grip as I can because, you know, on practice days and stuff, I'm gonna have to run like a 205 tire, probably, you know, just to keep it cost effective. So I'm gonna need to get grip elsewhere. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put these bad boys in. I mean, it's hard to get this nut on even when you're up here, not when you're trying to hold from down at the bottom and keep the shock up in there. Oh, but we got it. We're a pro. Tighten these bad boys down. All right. One down. Alright, I was going to put this thing on, the brace deal, but I can't find the bolts. Ben's coming tomorrow. We'll see if he can bring some, but this is what the subframe looks like installed. And the camera's just not doing it justice. It looks so rad in there, especially with the DS's. Look, they match. Oh, now you can see. Oh man, I am hyped. This was a big step, guys. Big step getting this in. I'm not going to be relieved until I tighten that axle nut down tomorrow. I need to get another one for this side. This axle came with some weird one that's like 3 washers clamped together with some steel. But once this is done, which is me tightening that bolt down, I'm going to be so relieved. This is a big step. But like I said, that's what it looks like. Look at that from down here. Looks super rad. Oh man, so this jack is in my way. I'm very happy that we got this part of the process done. This and getting the engine in the car were the two kind of biggest things on my mind, like the hardest part. They're going to be the biggest obstacles to overcome, and just having them done is like a weight lifted off my shoulder. Not fully, it's not fully off yet. It's not going to be off until that axle's completely seated in the hub, but you know, it's there, it's in. Coilovers are on, like it's sick. I'm freaking stoked. So tomorrow we're gonna be doing front suspension, front steering stuff. We gotta modify the steering shaft a little bit to get it to clear, making a trans mount and hopefully measuring for a drive shaft so that once we get the drive shaft, we can put that in, drivetrain's done. It's so creepy here at night. I'm just gonna go ahead and end this video now. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.